Hi-ho, everybody.
He's Fido.
He's Powie. And welcome to week 9. Hey, man.
Nice kiss shirt.
This is what it's all about. Rick Howard's amazing book. Surely you follow him. It's All For You Demon on YouTube, Instagram. We're going to dig into rock and roll all night.
And journal every day.
A year-long guide celebrating the
fun of being a Kiss fan.
That was exactly how we rehearsed it, too. We usually like to start out with the shirts.
The shirts. Dodger Stadium, and I know it's messed up. I'm looking for another.
Is there a back? You got something to show them on the back of that there guy?
That.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Look at that.
It's all jacked up.
Psycho Circus, live in 3D. But yeah, you gotta love shirts with the dates. Dangerously Psycho.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't getting away with that in the 21st century, kids.
Nope.
And this is, look at that. I forgot this was even stitched up. This is Lost City's leg of the Alive Worldwide reunion tour.
What's on the back?
The icons, as you'll see in the graphic.
Maybe
you've already seen the graphic. We'll see. The frou-fra from the $50,000 7-inch has subsided. It's not even a 7-inch. It's a 45 to 5-inch, right?
Right. It's 45, 50 grand. So how much is that per?
That's my thing, man. If you're gonna charge $50K, give me the extra 2 inches, right? 7-inch leather heels, and go into the bank to mortgage your house to buy something from Kiss.
But do you look?
Yes, we do love you. And we're going to take you into week 9 of the book. February 26th, It's All For You Demon asks, when you think of a 1970s Kiss poster, what is the first poster that comes to mind? Do you own or have you owned this poster in the past? Describe why this poster is important to you. And my answer is the Alive Super poster. Yes. Oh, yeah. Why is it important to me, you ask? Because it was the first Super poster I got. It was huge. I thought it was cool enough to mount to a piece of plywood. I still had mixed feelings as to whether or not I should have done that. Because I moved a lot, and that made it hard to move. And it probably incurred some damage, a little scratch here, a little tear there. But it's great. I mean, it's a giant Kiss poster.
I think I used to have that in San Diego or in Imperial Beach.
Well, back in 1990, Brian and I lived together, and it hung on the wall. Mine hung on the wall, and
I had a Alive 2 Super poster. You had the Alive poster.
And there's a couple of different versions of the Love Gun Alive 2. Some people call them subway posters, but did yours have the cubes or was yours the collage?
Mine had the cubes, and as
with Paul with the bouquet of roses. That was the other one I had.
My favorite, Spirit of '76, just because. That's what everybody says. But I mean, that one and the Choppers. The Choppers were bad, and that was like probably the peak of my feverish fandom of Kiss. Was around that time. It was before Beth broke big, but it was right around that time. It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
Those days were fun. Spirit of '76 and the Choppers.
Kiss was fun.
Yeah.
As I was saying, when Brian and I lived together in 1990, and I put up my Alive, I think that was 76, early 76 when that one came out. But
right.
I can't remember if it was, I think it was maybe your record and Bruce cut it up, or vice versa. I think his brother Bruce cut Donny and Marie out of the back of an album.
That's right.
And we stuck Donny and Marie. There's these two columns of, flash pots. And we put Donny and Marie strategically placed on the flash pots on the Kiss poster.
That was funny.
And as you can see in the graphic, they are still there to this day, 35 years later.
Yes.
It's crazy. Moving on to February 27th, describe in detail the last conversation you had about Kiss. We were briefly discussing this. Believe it or not, it was not with Powie.
The hell you say?
But one of my bassists, Scott McClintock, and I were talking on the phone. I think I've mentioned Scott in the pod before. He's not really a Kiss fan per se. He's roughly our age, but nevertheless, he was more of Olivia Newton-John guy. And
yeah, she rocked.
Yeah, she did. But not long ago, I indoctrinated Scotty with a copy of Rock and Roll Over because everybody needs that, and so he's been getting into it. And we were talking about. I think Scott actually brought up how much he liked the A&E biography interviews with Gene and Paul on the couch, barefoot Paul, just shooting the shit with Gene. And I had mentioned to Scott why that was such a good interview and why it's refreshing is because there's just a level of like informal candor to that, most Kiss interviews throughout the years do not have. That's kind of why I think we all love the Tomorrow Show with Tom Snyder, the way that degenerated, because it was so off script. And, Gene and Paul especially like to, guide the narrative or whatever. And so, yeah, we were talking about how there's a parallel between the A&E interview and a little bit of that same freewheeling vibe in the Second Coming segment where they go to Gene's house to put on makeup and they're cutting up with each other. And I don't know that there's any like interview per se there. I think it's just fly on the wall footage. But Scott brought that up and I told him what it was, and I gave him the context for it. But yeah, it was that. It was a conversation about how Kiss's interview style has evolved over the years. And by the time, late 70s, early 80s come around, it's so stale, and Gene just loving the sound of his voice. And, well, I think the message of Kiss and really conveying who it is that we are. That phrase always. I think I had some like interview picture disc that I got from Rare Bird Records on Richfield Road back in the day, and it was Gene, who it is that we are, Simmons, just bloviating for a while. But yeah, which is weird, because for somebody like Scott, somebody who's on the fringes of Kiss awareness, not necessarily a fan, that kind of shit can like really turn you off. You know what I mean? Just like,
right, yeah.
Who are these self-important jagoffs? But we know better. They're awesome people. We love you, Kiss. All right. What was your last conference? Now, exempting me, unless you and I had a really good one.
I don't know. I can't remember. It's probably with D-Man. It's just you and I talk to as far as Kiss goes and stuff. Every once in a while, it's like, when did Kiss jump the shark?
I'm sure that'll come up. I mean, we've got many months in this book to go. Moving on to February 28th. If you were or are a musician, what Kiss cover would you like to record on an album? Describe what the 45 single sleeve artwork for this track would look like below. Yeah, again, I kind of cheesed it on that part.
We did a version of me and D-Man did Come Out and Love Me. And it's somewhere online, more than likely. It might be. It might not be.
I think it might not be. I think it's something he's got to throw up.
I thought it went into the Lonesome Taters file, but...
Well, if it did,
Cleveland State.
I'm almost positive that I haven't heard it. It's pretty unbelievable.
I think it's on MySpace, actually.
It would be unbelievable that I would hear you guys doing that and not remember hearing you guys doing that. So I'll have to ask D-Mang about that.
Yeah. Ask D-Mang. But, yeah, we did Come On and Love Me. What I'd like to do, I Stole Your Love, like a rousing rock and roll. Freakies.
Would you do it faithfully, or would you punk it up? Or?
I'd do it just a tad faster.
Yeah. For me, man, Almost Human would be super fun to do. You know, laying the backups. It could possibly be one of those things that I could do the whole thing myself, which is always something that I've just not gotten around to doing yet. But yeah, that would be a challenge. Larger Than Life would be a blast to do. I'd love to play that. I'd love to record that drum break at the end of Larger Than Life. And as far as the cover, it would probably be, for those of you who have noticed the cover of this playlist, my YouTube channel, you know, me as Peter Criss in 79, me as the Catman, probably be that. I can't imagine coming up with some high concept art. I didn't draw anything in the book. I don't like to see how my subpar artistic skills compromise the groovy visual appeal of Kiss. So I just skipped it.
Right.
Rick was kind enough to include a February 29th in case of leap year, or if you just want to have an extra day of Kiss fun. I skipped it. We're going to go on to March 1st. If you were to make a documentary on any one Kiss member, who would it be and why? And my answer would be Ace.
Yes.
Because he's the fucking coolest. And I don't know if any of these guys are really mysterious, you know, to those of us who have been fans and read the biographies and whatnot, but I think a good Ace doc needs to exist.
It does.
I think it would.
I think so.
I think people, he's just interesting. He's the most interesting guy in the room.
Basically. Yeah, he'd be a hard one to pin down for one thing, and then another thing would be try to get him to recall minutia. It's like a lot of his book was just like, we were partying and this happened.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that, but there's some other stuff. It's like, yeah, but what about the other? What were you doing? Where's the tapes?
Yeah. Show us the tapes.
So I'd say Ace as well. Peter, maybe.
He was established
the Barracudas.
Locally, at least.
Yeah.
He was established. You know, he had a head start on the rest of the band. He's probably the most complicated
and candid as well.
Yeah.
I think his candor is like out of the four with the books, he spills the most.
A documentary on Gene would be the easiest to make, probably. And from a research standpoint, I mean, I'd have a blast. I mean, Gene, he's the guy that I haven't met. So I would answer Gene if it was only from the aspect of, like, you know, putting the doc together and working closely with a member of Kiss. It would be cool to spend that time with the Demon. But yeah, I'm sticking. My original answer is Ace, because I think the world needs an Ace doc.
I concur.
Moving on to March 2nd. What is the perfect Kiss album for a rainy day? And my answer is Peter's 78 solo album. Yes, because It has.
I can't
stop the rain on it. But I mean,
I didn't even think about that.
It just, Don't You Let Me Down. I mean, I can picture, rain on the window pane kind of vibes most easily with that record. But, it's kind of like I held your feet to the fire on a last episode about, is that technically a Kiss record, and is it stylistically a Kiss record? And so maybe there's an alternate answer. Maybe there's a Kiss album that's a good rainy day album.
I mean, I prefer like either. If it's a studio album, it'd probably be Rock and Roll Over for me, just because it kicks ass. It's a great album, and I like it. And I mean, Alive is always a good album.
It's just like if you want records that you're using to counteract the effects of a rainy day, like if rainy days and Mondays always get you down, then you might want to blast Rock and Roll Over.
Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome, Richard.
Oh, if you're going mood wise,
I mean, how are you going? How are you answering?
I don't know. It's like the you brought up Peter's, and I don't really listen to Peter's album all that much, but you're right. Like, Don't You Let Me Down and stuff like that. That is, conducive to rainy day music. Mm-hmm. Jazz for a rainy day.
Man, I just think more people need to listen. They need to give Peter a fair shake.
Shake that, Peter.
Bailiff, whack his Peter. Relitigate that one. The green one. Listen to the green one. All right. March 3rd. Who would you consider to be the greatest Kiss opening act? What influenced this choice? Well, what influenced my choice is my first Kiss concert, Friday, July 13th, 1979. Right over there, the return of Kiss.
Who opened?
Cheap Trick. I would not consider New England to be the greatest Kiss opening act. They were good. It was New England, then it was Cheap Trick, then it was Kiss. And I think I've said this before. I know I've said it before off camera, but it bears repeating. Cheap Trick just about mopped the stage with Kiss that night. And
the hell you say?
To do that, to Kiss.
Super Kiss at that point.
Super Kiss. I mean, playing to the backest of the back row. Even if all you saw, I mean, our seats weren't great. There were worse seats. Even if you had the worst seat at the Silverdome, you could still see a green speck, a red speck, a purple speck, and a blue speck. And that's pretty fucking cool. But man, Cheap Trick, dude. Yeah, they're, and for anyone who's heard, because Bunny's got them, their sets, their opening sets on that Can-Am 77, the Love Gun tour, man, they're just no better American rock and roll band going. Just for that mean potatoes thing, man. I mean, that's just my humble opinion talking, but yeah, Cheap Trick,
I humbly agree, but however, I did not see Cheap Trick. I can take your word for it, because Cheap Trick is Cheap Trick.
And you are also a fan, let it be known.
I am also a fan, let it be known. But my favorite one that I saw was Smashing Pumpkins at Dodger Stadium, dressed like the Beatles circa 64, which was pretty gosh darn cool. And they impressed the hell out of me. So I was not going in. I was not a fan. My friend who I went with, Anthony, if you watch, I doubt it, but he was a big fan of the Pumpkins in that day, and that was they really did a great job.
They brought it.
They brought it. I was duly impressed and was quick to suggest that he sport with a pop.
Had to be about the best. Wow. So are you? What happened? Where is Anthony? Is he out there?
Might be somewhere.
Cyberland somewhere.
Maybe. If he is,
you lost
what
track
up,
of him?
right? Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, you should try to find him, man. Send him a link to this. Hey, man.
Nice Kiss shirt.
Yeah. Anthony, sound off in the comments. Do you agree with Powie's assessment of that show? I'm sure you probably do. And you know what's interesting? For those of you who've seen the Magnificent Others, did you see the Corbin?
I did not. I
interview?
saw the thumbnail, started watching it, but he started doing dad jokes, so I tuned out.
Yeah, boy, man, come on, Gene. You're making it hard for people to hang on sometimes. But I don't think he mentions their costumery on that gig. March 4th is going to take us to the end of the week. Name one Kiss gift you have ever given another Kiss fan. Was it something you purchased or something from your own collection? What made this gift special to that person? And I gave my childhood solo album Faces t-shirt to my nephew, Giancarlo. He was 4, so it was his first Kiss t-shirt, which is everybody needs a chance in their life to meet a stranger on the street and have that stranger say to them, "Hey man, nice Kiss shirt."
I don't think I ever gifted anybody. I bought Destroyer for my cousin for his birthday, and I wound up keeping it because he didn't like Kiss. So there.
Ha. Yeah, both of my nephews.
I might have given somebody a Pez dispenser, but I got one, so I don't know. I thought I gave you one. I don't. No.
Did you? I think
my cousin gave you one, and I got one. I don't know if he gave it to me or not. I don't know. I got a Pez dispenser.
I think I got 2 of them.
Okay.
You're talking about the tin box, the set.
Yeah. I got that. Well, D-Man gave me the Detroit Tigers shirt.
One of the more pleasant Spencer's craps. If you
roll
the Pez, I like the Pez. I like tins. I like lunch boxes and tins, and yeah, that's good stuff. My other nephew, who's quite a bit older, right around the McFarlane, the Psycho Circus figures. I remember him coming over to visit and thinking, much like I did with Giancarlo years later, I was like, I'm going to make sure my nephew knows who Kiss is. So I hemmed and hawed for a minute, and this was, back when I was a little bit more precious about the collectibles, and I was like, should I open it? But I did, and I was like, well, I gave him Gene. I gave him the Gene figure. I was like, you can't take it home, but every time you're here, you can play with it. And next time you come over, we'll open the rest of them. And it never came to pass. Kiss didn't take with him the way that it did my younger nephews, but that was another example of trying to pass the torch to the next generation. I always, that's a great ulterior motive with a band that has merchandise to the hilt the way Kiss has.
People give me stuff a lot. Like out of the blue, somebody gave me like a Paul Stanley race car, one of the Spencer's things, like a NASCAR or something with Paul Stanley on it.
Yeah.
And people like throw that stuff at me.
Tanya gave me a poster for a particular NASCAR driver. I almost want to say it was for like a product, like an engine treatment or something. It was really weird. Or if maybe like Kiss had a piece of the sponsorship of one of the drivers, but it's autographed by Gene and Paul. they don't look like part of the art. It looks like she actually, well, evidently she didn't get it autographed, but I think a Kiss fan that she knew gave it. I don't know how she acquired it, but it's one of those same situations where she's like, I know who needs this, and she gave it to me.
Natasha gave us solo album COVID masks, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But we get Kiss stuff from lots of people, and you can give us Kiss stuff. We like it.
We like it. Yeah, as a matter of fact, next episode, we're gonna have a little show and tell segment. That's all I'm gonna say. Short and sweet, gang. That's how we do it. Here on
Hey Man, nice Kiss shirt. Celebrating a year-long guide to celebrating the fun of being a Kiss fan.
Thanks to Rick Howard. It's all for you, Demon.
It's all for you, Demon.
Get the book, put your two lips together, and kiss that subscribe button. And remember, play hard, play fair, nobody hurt.